Well, yeah.
Damn, bro, it's been a minute since I've been behind the mic.
Yeah, so I mean, we're live right now. But
Nah, don't trip. No.
Super,
Yeah, we could
we could
cut
candid.
it. Yeah.
Okay. I like the behind the scenes and everything. So it's a conversation. It's like where we just getting done.
Yeah, we just start off naturally, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just that's iced tea though. That's just iced tea.
Okay, because the can is giving it a different vibe.
Like a seltzer.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so
that's
we're
what everybody
getting a little
thinks.
loose.
Yeah. Essentially, we could drink sometimes we'll drink Topo Chicos, but if you're not, do you want a Topo Chico? No. Okay. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Some people do. Some people want to take shots before the pod.
I honestly do want to take a shot because I feel nervous.
You want to take a shot?
I do want to take a shot.
Hey, Doug.
So how do y'all know each other?
Me and Diego grew up together, like since we were kids. So, hey, Diego.
What's up?
Can you bring a shot of some alcohol? What do you prefer to drink?
If it's a shot, anything.
Shot.
You sure? Tequila, whiskey?
Ooh.
We could pop this bottle of champagne.
Tequila might get me too crazy. Champagne would be cool. I don't know. Whatever.
You can sip champagne too, really.
Hold on, let's just appreciate these MVP cups, bro.
No way, bro. I haven't even seen the cups.
Come on,
That's so cute.
Dog, you didn't even tell me nothing? That's crazy.
I love that for you guys.
And damn, Audrey, we got some questions. People are sending in some questions for you.
Yeah, they're trying to load you up.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys
I haven't told them like exactly, but we said like a real estate agent.
Yeah, like a female real estate agent.
I'm scared. Y'all edit this, right?
send me those questions, bro. What'd you grab?
Some Hornitos.
Oh God, bro. We would take Hornitos.
We don't got the fucking top tier shit, bro.
Dude, you guys had some Don Julio just like not too long ago.
Take a moment.
Yeah, I will. That's probably what I'm gonna do. What?
That's pretty dope, bro.
Oh, is that like what pops up on your feed?
That's what pops up on my feed.
Yeah, like all the healthy stuff and healthy
also
tips.
Conspiracy theories about what they put into our food.
How do you feel about that?
True.
You believe in it?
I believe in it. I do. Our government doesn't want us to be healthy because they profit off of it.
Yeah, they just want to see us like fat Americans, right?
They do.
Yeah.
Not only fat, they want us to have bone issues, joint issues, all the
Go
issues.
to the doctor, health issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of hospitals are, it's private equity. It's owned by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, we getting into conspiracies.
Hey, push it back a little bit, bro.
Huh?
Push it back just a little bit.
Oh, you can hear me? Like really good?
Yeah, real good.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's
like
what you guys should sound
You're
like.
going to be like,
Yeah. Make sure to sound like that, bro.
should we get closer?
Yeah.
If I'm closer, like
Yeah.
this?
You could try to pull it closer.
Nah, bro, you're like loud.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
All right.
Just a little bit. Yeah, it's actually a freaking badass mic.
Right?
Yeah.
That's cool. How is this? Is this better? This is better, huh?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
It's conspiracies, huh?
A little bit.
You believe in it?
Some of them.
Some of them?
Yeah.
Food? Aliens?
Aliens are real.
Aliens?
You believe in aliens?
I want to say there's another life species on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But to say like they're real, there's no real like evidence.
I think that there's no way that we're the only.
There's no what?
There's no way we're the only beings in the universe. Like.
See, and I feel like that too sometimes, but when you think about it from like a realistic perspective, you're like.
Actually, I interject because I feel like Earth is just like a perfect storm. Like it's just things align so perfectly to where like it's very unlikely that there's
he thinks
other.
we're the smartest species in the universe.
No, I never said that. I think we're the only species in the universe,
Okay,
bro.
literally.
I don't think we're the only species. I think we have a perfect storm, but just like on a volume, like there's billions of other planets. There's no way we're the only perfect storm.
See, and I could believe that.
See, I'm more of a simulation guy. I feel like if anything, it's a simulation.
Okay, I haven't like dived into that, and I don't really understand the concept of a simulation.
Okay, I can actually break it down to you.
Explain it to me.
So the concept of simulation is basically the way we're advancing right now, like with AI, everything, all the technology. We're eventually going to be able to like build our own simulation.
So what virtual reality?
Yeah,
Like
because think about it, like the where we're headed as far as technologically, all the advancements that we're making, AI, everything. So what makes us think that we haven't already reached that point in the past, and that we're living in this simulation right now? You know.
So we're gonna simulate the simulation.
It's inevitable. Yeah, it's inevitable that we're gonna get to that point.
And I can believe that, but what I don't understand is what's the point? Who's doing that?
What's the point of life?
What's the point of a? We don't have to get into that today.
To manipulate us.
What's the point of a simulation? Who's running it, and how do they benefit?
Yeah, I mean that's the question of the of the ages, you know.
Yeah.
Freaking rich people on a power trip.
Oh yeah, isn't that the story of life?
Yeah, literally. But what is it? Episode 34 today, bro.
Episode 34.
Diego, let me take the reins for the show today. So we got Diego in the back.
Yep.
Shout out my boy D. And today we have Audrey.
Yes.
Taylor, is that your last name, or is that
Taylor is my middle name?
Your middle name?
Gutierrez is my last name.
Okay, so we have Audrey Gutierrez for episode 34. How you doing, Audrey?
I'm doing good. How are you?
That's dope. I'm doing good myself. Doing good. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me, but
it's
we gonna
okay,
make it
so
through.
am I.
Okay.
You know what? Let's both be nervous together, and maybe it'll calm.
Yeah, maybe you could like use my nervousness and not be so nervous yourself, because I'm probably a little nervous.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So Miss Audrey Gutierrez is here. You are in the real estate business. How's that going for you?
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. And why do you say it's going phenomenal?
Because I'm happy with what I do. And I'm successful. I've been in the industry almost 5 years, but as a licensed agent, I've been in the industry for 3 years.
3 years. Nice. So how do you get in the industry without being
a
licensed?
realtor?
Yeah.
So I started off as an assistant at a brokerage, and I was doing everything. So I was managing properties, Airbnbs, single family rentals, investments, things like that. I was managing a real estate office, and then a portion of the company as well, like doing paperwork, transaction coordination, just keeping the boat flowing, you know.
And so you started off like essentially doing like the small things for the company, and then was like the plan to always be a real estate agent?
The plan was not always to be a real estate agent. I, like, in the beginning stages of my career, just kind of stumbled upon things, you know. So I had no idea what I was going to do for the rest of my life, but I knew that I had to pay bills and make money. So when I found the real estate job, it was like I was guided there by my mentor. Hey, go look into real estate. So that's what I did, but I didn't have a concept of where I could go with it, you know, until I was in that position to learn all that I learned. And I always tell people, what got me to become a real estate agent was the fact that I had to manage everyone's checks. And I was like, oh,
this is what I want to do.
They're making way more money and I'm doing all their work. So,
Nice. And so you said you had a mentor. How did you kind of go about finding your mentor, and what's that like?
Honestly, just being open to communicating with different types of people and having a hunger for learning, I think, is what led me there. Because initially what I wanted to do was go into politics and be in some sort of government position, a lawyer. I'm big on activism, so I wanted to go that route. And in high school, I was in the debate team, and I was doing policy debate. So
you like to argue a little bit.
Yeah.
She's good.
I argue for my clients. I fight for them.
Dope.
But I was getting good at that, so I was like, hey, I should go into politics. And my government and economics teacher kind of took me under his wing, and he was like, what we're going to do is have the candidates for a city council position come and talk to us, and I want you to escort them in. So I was like, this is a good opportunity for me to get some information. So I escorted each candidate in, and we watched them give their presentation. And Isabel Salcido, who's our District 5 City Council representative, was someone who went up and spoke about her story, and it really resonated with me. So I grabbed her right after everything, and I was like, how do I become you, basically?
And is that somebody you like still deal with to this day? Is that one of your mentors?
I was on a phone call with her today.
Dope.
She's a good friend and a mentor.
We don't really have like a true mentor yet, Dale.
Yeah, I like that's what made me curious, like when you said that, because not many, especially I guess, I don't know if it's maybe our generation, but like it takes like a certain characteristic, or it takes definitely some effort, or even just a presence of mind to like be okay with literally pulling someone aside and like just telling them like, hey, you know more than me, like what do I need to do? Like I feel like not many people are really like, they're either shy or they have too much pride, or they don't know how to go about that. So what was going through was it just something natural to you, or it was just like how did that come about, you just wanting to do that?
Honestly, it's something that comes natural to me. I've had to learn to tone it back, honestly, but growing up, I was always the one who asked all the questions, who wasn't afraid to speak up. You know, my parents never told me I couldn't say anything I wanted to. Like, I'm very outspoken,
right.
And sometimes I do before I think. So that was definitely a moment of like, I want this, so I'm gonna go ask for it. And I didn't consider all of the possibilities that could happen. It's like, she could either say no, I don't want to help you, or she could be open and receptive.
But I like that a lot, actually, because there's also like a benefit to that, because you're not sitting there contemplating like what can go wrong. You're just acting on it. And there's like a true benefit to that, because you just you essentially avoid a lot of like pit holes by not overthinking it. You just go and do it. That's kind of like that go-getter mentality.
So yeah, it honestly came natural to me, but I was also in a position where I was so desperate to change my circumstances, and I saw an opportunity to do so.
Right.
So I think when you're coming from a place where you're like, you know, on the ground groveling, it's only up to go.
So what would you say was like, has been your main motivating factor when you think about it?
When I think about it, it's my main motivating factor was stability. Being in a position where I wouldn't have to worry about anything. Because I come from a life of, you don't know where your next meal is coming from. Your living situation could be gone tomorrow. So right. I just never wanted to experience that again type situation.
Dope.
Yeah. And your parent, did you grow up with any siblings?
Yeah, so I have 2 baby sisters, and that's also another factor. I'm the oldest of them. And I have step siblings too, but I didn't really grow up with them. But my parents, you know, had us young, and so they were working. And who's left to take care of the younger siblings? It's the oldest.
Right.
So honestly, those are like my everything. My sisters are my everything. So it's also, I want to set myself up to put them in a better position too.
So you just feel a natural like responsibility, even just like when you were even young, and they were younger than you, obviously, but is that something that comes with being an older sibling? Just, you feel like, because I'm the youngest, so like I have a completely different mentality.
Yeah. Honestly, it is like every older sibling I've ever spoken to is either like, you know, really I'm all about me, or they're like, it's all about my family and my baby sisters or brothers or whatever. You're a younger sibling, and you're a younger sibling?
Yeah,
both
we're
of you?
The child. Like, we're the babies of the family, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, what is it like looking at your older siblings?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, for me, they like, I look at him as a role model. He motivates me. He pushes me to just want to like break the norms, like defeat the odds, and yeah, you know, being like the younger brother, looking at your older brother, you're like, I want to be like him, or I want to be better than him. So it's like, they set the standard essentially, you know? So.
Yeah, I could say the same. I feel like I'm super close with my siblings, like both of them, even though they're, my older brother's 10 years older, and then my sister's 6 years older. But sometimes I forget that, like, I'm the youngest, just because we have such a good relationship. But what I always like tell people is that I feel like I matured at a very early age, just because I was always around them and their friends, like just in those type of environments. Not that they were bad environments by any means, but you just naturally, like, you pick up on certain things, and I feel like that kind of definitely played a role in like my own development. But even just naturally, like, for example, my brother, I've learned like all this production stuff, like video editing, everything came from him. Like, I give him all the credit for, like, obviously I put in a lot of time as well, but anything that I need to figure out how to do, I'm going to ask him, and he's going to give me a solution. So it's great. And it goes back to the mentor thing. Like, like, I always hear this. I heard this quote. It's like, intelligence isn't always knowing the answers. It's just knowing where to find the answers.
Knowing where to find the answer.
And so I always just try to keep that in mind, no matter what. It's like, you just stay curious, and obviously you want to be overbearing, right? And you don't want to come off like just pushy, but at the same time, like, you're not going to know if you don't ask.
If you don't ask. Yeah. And honestly, I hope my sisters talk about me like how you talked about your brother.
Yeah.
But like, seeing them grow up too, because now they're older, they're way cooler than me, they're way smarter than me, they're so funny. Like, it's a beautiful thing to see. Like, I won't say that they took parts of who I am, but they definitely watched. And, you know, they watch my struggles, they watch my successes, and they're like, this is who I want to be out of that, and whatever else influences them. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You think they'll watch the pod? No.
Our personalities are so different. They're like, what am I going to watch that for when I could go, I don't know, watch a movie?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah. I don't want to watch my sister.
They're like, I already got to talk to her and do it every day.
Like, I know who she is.
Exactly. I don't think they're going to watch it. Maybe my parents will, though.
Dope. So how has been, like, your real estate journey? Like, let's talk about how, like, how you started off. Like, how was it, like, when you first got into real estate, and, like, what kind of struggles did you have to go through?
Okay. So, when I first started, I was very bright-eyed. You know, oh my goodness, the world is my oyster. Like, everything is going to happen for me type thing.
Yeah.
But I had to eat a lot to get through that, you know. So when I first started, I was very excited. Like I said, I got that position at being an assistant, and I started at a pay that I had never gotten before. So it was like,
essentially good for you. Like, it was
good for me. It was good pay for me at the time. I was only 19. Like, I was making more than most people, and I had a very professional type job. I had actually worked at the city council before that.
I think I remember, like, from what I remember, I thought you were already a real estate agent, but maybe you weren't. I think you were, like, still maybe behind the scenes a little bit, because I remember you posting about, like, B&B properties and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly.
And that was when you were an assistant, right?
That's when I was an assistant. Okay. So, you know, I was helping my broker manage a portfolio of, I don't even know the exact number. I know it was at one time 23 Airbnbs, 2 single family properties. Then by the time, towards the end that I was leaving, it was a triplex, a duplex, and an eightplex. So
that's where the money's at.
Low income properties,
Okay.
It was a lot of learning. But I also was taking on so much responsibility that I was wearing myself thin. But I look back on that and I'm really thankful, even though I wasn't sleeping, even though it was like my health was bad, my stress levels were through the roof. I learned so much, and that gave me the ability to be successful as a real estate agent. So, like, and it was also the push that I needed, right, to say, I'm tired of this and I need to go do my own thing. And being a 1099 employee, an entrepreneur, is terrifying. No one's taught to be a 1099, you know? Right. Or most people aren't. Right. You're told, go to school, get that 9 to 5, and that's how you're going to be successful. Right. So going that route of, like, not knowing when my next check was going to be, not knowing if I was going to be successful, it was different. And everybody told me I was doing something wrong. And
so when you say you were, like, running yourself thin, like, what exactly do you say you were doing? Like, were you just not giving enough time to yourself?
I wasn't giving any time to myself. Like, I guess I'll backtrack. I had already been through that phase that everybody knows when you're discovering yourself, about, you know, you listen to certain motivational speakers and you find different information and you're inspired by it. So I was like, what I need to do right now is work really hard and learn. So I was, like, working 7 to 10 p.m. type thing. Yeah. Like, all day. And I was going to school at the time too. And this is my first semesters of college, trying to get a degree. And then, you know.
And so like, run us through that. How was, like, going through the process of, like not going back to school, and like, how did your parents take, like, when you told them, like, hey, I'm going to be a real estate agent?
Oh my goodness. It was like, so my mom is super supportive. She's super bubbly. Anything we do, she's like, go for it. Right. Do it. But my dad is more traditional, and he was like, do you want to be? He was like, do you want to be broke? Like,
your dad, like, no disrespect, is your dad black or is he Mexican?
My dad is Mexican. My mom is black.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's traditional, and he's like,
hardworking Mexicans. That's all they know.
Yeah. He's like,
punch that clock.
Punch that clock. Exactly. Yeah. What's wrong with you? Get your degree. That's how you're gonna get out of the hood. Literally. Type thing. Especially because he doesn't have a degree. My parents don't have degrees, and my grandma and my dad, they're immigrants from Mexico. Right. So you come to America with the American dream. Right. And if you don't fulfill it, your children fulfill it, you know? So there was that situation going on. But I just was like, no, I'm telling you, seeing everything that these realtors do with half the work I put in,
I could do anything.
Yeah.
That's dope. Mm-hmm. And so what really changed for you like that first year? Like what was that moment or like something that you did where you were like, yeah, like this is it. Like I could do this. Like I could ace this.
Because like I said, I've always been super outgoing, outspoken. And I think that's one of the traits that you have to have as a salesperson. That's what it is at the end of the day. Being a realtor is a salesperson. You have to have the ability to talk to people. And I think I had that kind of down. It needed some refinement. Like looking back, rough. But I was confident in my ability to speak to people, and I had the knowledge. Right. So I was like, I got this. I have the 2 components that I need, and I had also saved up some money to where if I was, not
going to be selling for a while,
then I could take care of myself.
Gotcha.
What I always talk about, like with salesmen, is they say like, obviously I think there's more to it, but would you agree that sales is really just wanting to help people?
Sales is wanting to help people, and that's a lot of where my motivation comes from. Like being the kid that didn't have parents who owned a house, and being the kid that didn't have, sometimes food to eat and stuff like that. When I entered real estate, I saw that people's dreams were coming true, truthfully. And people would cry at the closing table because they fulfilled their dreams about being a homeowner. That's part of the American dream too. Right. So yeah, it's about helping people. Yeah.
I don't think I realized I haven't registered how big buying a home is. Like you say, people actually like cry and break down. Man. Like I'm sure that those moments feel like really good, right, for you? They feel
phenomenal. Yeah. Yes, especially when you're looking at a family who's, for example, one that I just closed, they were living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with them and their 4 kids. 4 kids. And it's like I can resonate with the kids, and I can also resonate with the parents. You guys are in a really tough situation, and you've been strapping down. Now you're getting better jobs. Now you've been saving for however many years, and we're able to afford a house that suits your needs, and you're happy.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, just to be happy in your home.
Yeah.
So somebody had actually asked like, how do you know if like you're ready to buy a home or like you can afford a home?
So there's a couple of factors, but wait, I want to tell you this one story too. Back to the last question too, because it's not just about the family. It's about the kid that grows up to become an investor. Like we had helped a buyer own a house, and his parents went through the 2008 financial crisis. So they lost their rental properties. They went bankrupt. He was like terrified of owning property, but he wanted to be a property owner because he understood what it can do for you. So helping someone like that purchase investment properties was also.
Yeah.
That was big time.
What did it feel like? Take me through the exact feeling when you sold your first house. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
A young military couple from El Paso. Me and this girl went to school together, but she was like 2 years older than me. And they were getting married. They had their dogs, and they were like, we want to start that white picket fence family type thing. And I was terrified the whole time. Even though I had been doing it as an assistant for like almost 3 years, I knew everything about the transaction process. I was like, oh my God, if I blow this up, they lose house, they lose the money. It's a terrifying process. Yeah. So I remember being scared, but then when I got through it, I was like, oh, I did it. So.
Wow. And how long in did it take you to sell your first house?
It took me 6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
Is that like pretty standard?
That's standard, honestly. Like some people can do it in a month. Some people can do it in 3 months. But a lot of agents won't sell their first house for 6 months to a year.
And you're not making any money in those 6 months?
And unless you have a full-time job somewhere else, unless you got some other income.
How long, are you punching the clock every day for like 8 hours essentially? Like, is it what you put in, you get out, or is
what you put in, you get out? Absolutely. So.
But even like your first year, like, if like my first year, can you go in there and just like kill the game?
Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
No, not really. Yeah. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but it's a compounding effect.
Right.
So a lot of people get discouraged within those first 6 months or within that first year because they're not seeing they're not, reaping the rewards of their work. But it is a compounding effect. All of this work will hit you like a train one day.
Out of nowhere.
Wow. And how much is your network involved? How much does your, like, who you know and how many people, like, you meet on the, not even just in the job, how much does that affect, like, how well you're able to sell, like, houses?
So I learned this through experience. I learned this through mentorship. I learned this through a sociology class that I took at school. Who you know is better than what you know.
100%.
It absolutely is. Because if you don't know anybody, especially in real estate, in any type of sales situation, who are you going to sell homes to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who is going to put you in better positions? Who's going to elevate you? Nobody. So you don't have to know everything to start. That's just the route that I went because I was scared of messing up on that part of it. But who you know is definitely more important. So through that time of me not selling, I was also going to all the events. I was getting to know the people in the industry, getting to know of them. Who's my competition? Yeah. Who can I emulate myself after, you know? So things like that.
Wow. And yeah, so do people literally just, like, people that you know, just because you're friends with them or you know have a relationship with them, they'll come to you once they know they're ready to buy a house, just because off the strength of they know you.
Yeah, and that's not the case for everybody. Like, there's 3,000 realtors in El Paso. Yeah. So everybody's cousin, and, you know, we're all, like, tight-knit. Everybody has a big old family. Everybody's mom, cousin, whoever is a realtor. Yeah. But when they see that you're putting in the work and you're a full-time and all of these things, I do get, you know, friends who are coming to me and asking, how can I become a homeowner, which is back to your question. Yeah. So,
and sorry, I want to definitely get, but I'm just, is El Paso naturally, like, or not naturally, but I've noticed that there is a lot of real estate agents. Is that everywhere, or El Paso just has a big real estate community? Like, as far as agents,
there are a lot of realtors in America, a ton of realtors, but most realtors are part-time, if not even part-time. Most realtors sell 2 to 10 homes a year. So this is like a cherry on top of their bread and butter, you know, what they're doing as extra income further.
Make an extra 40 grand or something. Yeah. That's insane. So would you say most agents are just doing it as like a part-time thing?
I would say most agents who already have a set career, I would say most agents are doing it as a part-time thing.
Side thing.
What I will say is I see a lot of younger people coming into the industry and making this their full-time gig.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's scary.
And and you see them successful, that they can do it?
Yeah, there's a ton of young, successful realtors.
Yeah.
There are a ton of young and old unsuccessful realtors, and they eventually get rid of their license. And it's one of those industries where, like, you have to have a certain type of drive.
What was the question you had?
Yeah, essentially, like, when do you know? Yeah, when's the time to buy a home?
When do you know? Okay, so it's very situational. It's very individual. You know, you're ready to buy a house when you want to. So if you think, I want to be a homeowner, don't hesitate to go talk to a realtor. Me.
So it's just like it's more of like an emotion thing, or like when you want it.
Purchasing a home, selling a home, it's all emotion. It really is.
Yeah.
Eventually it becomes a numbers thing, but especially your first house, you're gonna feel all the feelings. Emotional. So emotional. So whenever you're ready and you think, I want to be a homeowner, even if it's not tomorrow, even if it's in 10 years, you need to go out and get that information on how to make that happen, because it's a super intricate, like, complex thing to do. And it's a huge financial decision. It's probably the biggest financial decision most people will ever make in their life. So it takes preparation, it takes knowledge. So you're ready when you know, when you want a home, and then you just go talk to a realtor and get the knowledge.
And is it common for, like, people buying, like, their first homes, especially, like, to them to be, like, crying or emotional and stuff like that? Like, do you see that often?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. And, you know, even if we prepared you all the way up to the point of signing your name on a contract, when you sign, people's breath, like, they stop breathing. Yeah. They're like,
it's like something just changes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is happening. This is real. Yeah. And then when we close, oh my gosh, you know, it's a huge decision. So
yeah. And so give us the cliff notes, because I know it's, like you said, it's an intricate process. Let's just say tomorrow I'm ready. And I have the money, or that's kind of hard because there's a lot. But yeah, let's just say I'm financially stable, right? Yeah. And I want to buy a house. and let's just say like I already have my eye on one, you know?
Yeah.
How do I make that my house, you know?
The first thing that I tell people to do is we need to talk about your finances. And a lot of people, especially in the El Paso market, are like,
that's where they run.
what are you talking about? Like, don't touch my pockets, you know? So
that's a real thing.
It really is. People get scared. That's where
scary.
they run.
That's what scares me. I mean, I actually just got pre-approved for a home. Yeah, I appreciate it. But like, I don't even want to pull the trigger anymore. Like, really? I swear. Like, I was like, oh, this is getting real. Like,
it is.
And then, yeah, it's a scary thing.
So your finance, I use this analogy. Like, I don't go to the airport without a plane ticket and watch planes fly away. Yeah. I don't do that. You can window shop at the mall. You can window shop here. If you're ready to buy a home, we're not window shopping. We're not just going to talk about what kind of house you want. We need to talk about the important stuff. You cannot get a house without knowing what kind of financing you're going to get. And we have to talk about where you currently stand in your financial portfolio. So I'm going to ask questions like, what is your credit score? What do your assets look like? Debt to income ratio. And then I'm going to connect you with a loan officer who can tell you based off of your finances, you're ready, or here's what we need to work on. And then after that, then we do the fun stuff. We look at houses, we explore the market, we get you the best deals. And then from that point on, it's about negotiations, all kinds of other things.
And so what's the timeline from the point to where, like, yeah, you get pre-approved and you go look at houses to actually, like, moving in?
In a perfect world, the timeline would be we get you pre-approved, we find a house, however long that takes. Let's just say it takes a week.
Yeah, rough ETA.
Yeah. Let's just say it takes 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Sometimes. Most of the time it takes longer, especially in this market. That's something else too. I do a buyer consultation, so we talk about the market, all these other things. If you want more information, then you can reach out to me. But so we probably 2 weeks to look for a house, and then let's say we get one under contract, which is a whole nother process in and of itself. Then
is that like take time, or is that kind of quick?
It can take time. Yeah. Depending on your situation, we might have to make offers that get rejected. We could make an offer, it gets accepted the day of. I've had that happen. Or we're in a multiple offer situation, we might have to negotiate. Or we can look at new construction homes, which is easy. You just find a house that suits your needs, and then you're under contract if you have all of the means. So after that, then it typically takes 30 to 35 days to close on a home. It can go all the way up to 45 days, and it can be even longer, especially if you're building a house. But most of the time.
What's the longest you've personally had to like do?
I'm working on one that's going on a year.
Oh, snap.
And in May, it'll be a year, and we close in July. So what happened with that one was the builder didn't have their resources properly gathered. We were supposed to close in December, and they didn't start on construction until November. Luckily, my clients are in a position where they own a house right now. They're not in a rush. So they have a comfortable living situation, and we're able to, take the punches. Right. But we were supposed to close in December of last year, and it's looking like October this year.
Wow. Wow. And process, bro. Yeah. And you mentioned negotiation. At what point does it in the home buying process, does it come down to negotiation, like between you and like you're negotiating basically a price for this home? Or is there a set price that this is it, and if you want it, like this is what you're gonna buy?
So if you're in a position where you find a house and you're comfortable with the price, and I'm comfortable with the price, because what I do is a comparative market analysis on every single home that my clients will see, which means that I go look at the sales in the area to make sure that what we're offering is market value, and not only that, but that it'll appraise. A lot of people don't talk about appraisals. Those are super important. Those can kill a deal. Right. But it starts from the time that we find a house to the time we get under contract. So I'll say, I think this house is worth this. Let's say we're looking at an overpriced house, and I think it's worth less, and I go to the listing agent and I say, this house is not worth this, and here's what we're offering to your seller. The seller will usually come back and say no, because nobody wants to accept less than what they want for their house, right? And that's where that negotiation starts. Or the negotiation can be, here's the price, you like the price, cool. Or it can be, give us more. or give us less, or no one's asking for less, but like there are situations where a home has been on the market for a certain amount of days and that buyer or that seller is in a distressed position, so it's a benefit to my buyers to offer less.
So you're the middleman.
I'm the middleman.
Okay, yeah. You're not. Is it
but
the
you
same?
said you work with like another listing agent too, right? So it's like y'all would collaborate.
So
too.
we represent the best interests of
each
whatever
party.
side we're on.
Oh, gotcha.
What do you mean, whatever side?
So let's say, so
yes, so you can't deal with both of them, right? Like
you can.
You
In
can?
Texas, you can. There's an intermediary. It's called an intermediary relationship. In certain states, you cannot represent both the seller and the buyer. And honestly, that's for good reason. A lot of the time, there will be,
a conflict of interest.
But professionals in Texas can represent both seller and buyer. And we are trained. Texas has a more thorough training to do so without being biased if you have that type of relationship. But most of the time, it's a seller, buyer, and then there's an agent to represent the seller, and there's an agent to represent the buyer.
So you're directly talking to the other agent.
Other agent. I don't talk to the seller, and it's best that we don't do. You know what the number 2 most sued thing is in America?
Sued?
Sued.
Just properties?
Lawsuits. It's real estate.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. For what reason?
Because it's a very complex, very emotional transaction.
Oh, so there's a lot of backdooring and just like.
It's big money.
Yeah.
It's emotions. It's ownership. How do you feel when someone takes, your last piece of food that you've been saving or your snacks? It's that on another level.
So there's some corruption
these are like long
involved.
investments.
Yeah.
I mean, you're buying a home; it's 30-year investments. So
Yeah, and is there certain like laws you have to follow? Like there's certain things you can't do, like just some corruption going on, right, in real estate.
Yeah.
Shit.
There's a lot of stuff you can't
Like
do.
give me an example, because I'm curious about that. Like, can you? Can you take someone out to dinner, or just
oh, like boundaries like that,
just things like that, give me an example of some things
with your
just trying to win them over in some way. Like, what boundaries are there of I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I have seen a situation. I've seen tons of situations, but this one more closely. It's the first one that comes to mind. I think it was my first experience being like, that's illegal. So an agent had a listing. Their seller was selling this big, beautiful house, and they were an African couple with their kids and all of these things. The seller showed up to actually my open house earlier than I was closing, so buyers were still walking into the door looking at the house, and the sellers were like, I'm the owner here, let me tell you about the house. I guess he didn't feel confident. I could tell. And that's also another thing too, is, like I said, highly emotional people love to overvalue their things that they own. Because
it's their emotional connection, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they were very prideful. Let me tell you about, this refrigerator and how much I got it for. So he's having conversations with all of the buyers, and
this grill's a good grill,
Yeah. This countertop right here cost me, it's like some outdated countertop, but a seller will be like, this is the best thing you could get right now. But anyway,
for sure.
Trying to do your job and stuff.
I know.
This toilet seat top tier, bro.
Yeah, what do you do about that? Do you just let them rant? And...
They own the house. I can't tell them what to do.
So that's not illegal for them to do that?
That's not illegal. It's messy. What was illegal was one of the buyers wrote a letter, and it was another black family, and they wrote a letter. It is sentimental. It was beautiful, honestly. For me, being
you can't write a letter.
A minority, you're not supposed to write letters enticing the seller. It's kind of like a bribe, and it keeps things out of. Especially,
how's it a bribe if it's not transactional, or can it be transactional sometimes?
You can write letters, but that's not a part of the transaction. The transaction is, you're looking at numbers in terms of the contract,
right?
Not, we're this type of family and we relate to you in this way.
It's crazy. So you can't do that.
No, and also here's money.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Outside of the contract,
right? When
you're already in a signed agreement. So there's there's a lot of things you can get sued for. There's a lot of illegal things.
And who would essentially be doing the suing in that scenario? Is it the brokerage or
other buyers who say they had an unfair advantage?
Oh, okay, so a buyer that was trying to buy the home, but they sold it to this family because of X.
Dang, so it's a game that you have to abide by these rules,
bro. That's crazy.
Yeah. How about like romantic relationships and things like that? Is that like, is there boundaries to that?
I would say no.
No.
I don't think so, because when you own a house, you can do whatever you want, honestly, with it. But if you are in a situation where you're working with a real estate agent and you open it up to the market, to the MLS, which is the public market, then
that's like Zillow and all that stuff, right?
So yeah, Zillow gets their information from the MLS. The multiple listing service is a private form of information for realtors. So we get specific information about properties.
Yeah. And have you ever had, like, is there any time where there's bids on a home, like multiple people want this home, so whoever gives the best price wins, who gets the home?
Is that normally how it works?
Yeah, whoever offers the best. It's not just about price, though, because like I said, something about the transaction is the appraisals. So if I'm helping somebody sell their home, and we're all looking at the offers together, because that's when I'm helping someone sell their home, we look at all the offers together, and that's something I legally have to disclose to my seller as well, every offer we get. Mm-hmm. If I see something that's like $50,000 over the asking price is offered, I'm going to look at it differently than my seller. My seller is going to go, oh, hell yeah, $50,000 more, we'll go there. But we can run into issues, because is the house going to appraise? Is an appraiser who's protecting the buyer and the mortgage company going to say, yeah, this house is worth $50,000 over, or are they going to say no? And when they say no, we get into a sticky situation. If we accept that offer, the buyer has to come with a difference and all these other things. So
wow.
Mm-hmm. That's really intricate,
bro. There's so many different, that's crazy.
Like, and this is just like me being like honest. Somebody had actually told me, because I was speaking to a lot of agents at the time, and somebody had told me like, yeah, like if there's a house out there that might be overpriced or that has multiple bids on it, that you can. They tell me like write a letter. Like you can write a letter, and if you like say something sentimental and like that you'll take care of the home or whatever, like the lower bidder, they might sell to you. So they were essentially like trying to do some kind of sketchy stuff.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Like the situation that I was explaining, another agent had become aware
of what was going on.
Yeah,
it was getting messy. You don't have to air everything.
It's a messy situation that it's like case by case, but most of the time that's usually frowned upon.
Right.
Yeah, but you can.
So is there scenarios where like a lower bidder can like get the house, or for the most part it's just whoever comes
if all of the other terms of the contract make sense? So it's like I said, it's not just about price.
Yeah.
If that buyer is a cash buyer and they offer less, cash is king, right?
Yeah,
but if they can close in 10 days,
that's like the ultimate, like cash me out.
Yeah, cash me out.
And do you, like, this might be like overstepping, but do you do like background checks on people buying houses?
Yeah. Like,
I wish.
Is that a thing, bro?
So somebody with dirty money could just like $200K, like here it is. And like,
as long as they have it in a bank account.
Oh, it has to be in a bank account?
I don't need to know where your cash is coming from.
that shit works either way.
Yeah, I thought if you're doing it like up front, you don't need to like even go like the traditional route with like
I mean, you have to transfer title, and you don't necessarily have to go the traditional route, but title companies need to know
that like there's a transfer
usually
of, like like deeds.
So is
paperwork.
it coming out of a bank account? Because they're going to deal with the transfer of funds. But yeah, I don't need to know where it's coming from. I just need to know that you have it.
Got it.
All right. Money talks. I'm good. I'm just kidding.
Money talks. Okay, well, Jerry or Tizzy had asked, how hard was it for the national and the state exam?
Okay, so the national exam passed with flying colors. For me, it was easy. The state exam, Texas is so unnecessary. Like, the state exam was confusing and just dumb. But I have beef with the state exam. The state exam was hard.
You took it multiple times, or?
I took it 3 times.
3?
The third time.
Is there a limit?
There's a 3-time limit.
Oh.
The third time I passed, and I was like,
thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
That's dope. And so what happens if you don't pass?
I can't remember. I think you have to wait a certain amount of time, then you have to redo all of your classes
You're like on probation.
Which is like 180 hours of classes.
And that's money too that you're just reinvesting
exactly
into class. Damn.
Yeah, bro. After the third time, I'm like, shit, it's just not for me, my guy. Gotta go a different route.
That was the problem. I'm like, hey, I do this for a living as an assistant. Like, I know.
Yeah.
I promise I know, but it was the wording. And
yeah, that's what I heard. So also, it's like they kind of try to trick you with a lot of things.
They do. But honestly, when I really looked at it, I understood. Like, I had to sit down and pay attention to what it was saying and go and really read the textbook, because that was my issue, was that I was overly confident in my real life and real world knowledge that I was not paying attention to that textbook. So I would say, if you're going to go get your real estate license, at least for the testing portion, that textbook, whatever you're learning, is your Bible for that period of time.
Yeah.
And read it and know it.
And so do you have to get certified in the U.S. and Texas to sell homes, or? So
you don't necessarily have to. Well, yeah, you have to be a part of the National Association of Realtors,
okay.
because we follow an ethics guideline and an ethics code. So you do have to take those 2 tests in order to be licensed. And at least in Texas, I don't know about other states.
And see, one thing that I was recently made more aware about was they said like the test is more like about the legalities of everything, and like and it doesn't essentially teach you how to like be a real estate agent. Like, it doesn't teach you how to go out there and make a sale and how to get clients. It just teaches you how to essentially not break the law, right?
It teaches you how to not break the law.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, number 2 most sued thing in America is real estate.
So you need to know your legalities.
You do. And we also don't practice law, so that's also another thing, is you need to know you don't practice law. You cannot give legal advice. And that's another way you could mess up. So it's scary. The real estate industry is...
It's intimidating.
It's intimidating, yeah.
Yeah. I've contemplated so much about real estate, buying, being an agent, like, and it's a roller coaster, and I haven't even got in, so I'm just like, yeah. I don't know if I should.
And do you find like the communities helpful towards one another, or it can be very grimy?
Oh my goodness, great question.
Yeah. Because that's what we were talking about.
Am I gonna get in trouble?
Am I gonna have some?
Nah, hell no, you better have that shit out now.
Yo,
I'm MVP.
Yo, I'm telling you.
Okay, so I thought that it was peaches and cream, because you know, when you're a salesperson, you're very nice.
Yeah.
The surface level. It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's just like it's entrepreneurship.
Yeah, everybody's fighting for the dollar.
Everybody's fighting for the dollar. Yeah. You're putting food on your table with this. And so people steal clients, people lie on your name. Don't tell nobody your business. You know, just like with anything, honestly, like with anything.
So they'll be like, oh, you can buy with Audrey, don't buy with Audrey. Like, I've heard some shit about her type shit.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. Hey, if you go with me, I'll give you this, that, and the third, which might be nice for the client. They sound pretty. Exactly. It's lipstick.
Yeah.
Like a lot of salespeople, I won't even just say real estate agents.
Sales period, are very conniving.
Yeah, I've heard some shit about the car sales.
Yeah, just honestly, all sales industries.
And do you believe that, like, if you eat, we all eat, or is that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always believed that, and to come from a place of service too. Those are 2 things that I learned throughout life, watching people being told that there's more business to go around, there's more money, there's more food, if you are supportive of other people. And don't get me wrong, too. I also want to say this, like, the real estate industry, there are some really supportive people and really great personalities and genuine people. So, but
you've had like firsthand experiences.
I've had firsthand experiences of both.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the questions was, as a real estate agent, is it better to operate individually or as a team?
I think when you get started.
And that was from Trey.
Yeah,
Lab Made Trey.
Shout out Lab Made Trey.
Okay. So thank you, Trey, for the question. When you get started, I think that it's a good idea to be a part of a team. Even later. Teams help you grow.
Yeah.
And there's a hierarchical structure, you know. There's somebody at the top who knows what you need to know. So a team is a good idea. And then there's personalities within a team dynamic that you can learn from, because we often see things from our own perspective. So that's limiting, you know. But if you have somebody else to tell you or show you how to do things a different way, or the other things are possible, then you're more successful. You have a chance of being more successful.
What is a team? Explain a team dynamic versus individually. Like when you say team, how does that work? Like,
so individually, when you're a real estate agent, you're doing it all by yourself. You work with, so every realtor is licensed through a brokerage, and that brokerage might help you get leads, they might not, but you have to do your own research. You have to figure out, where am I going to get leads? How do I do these contracts? How do I just everything? You're learning
they don't
everything.
teach you how to do a contract.
Nobody teaches you how to do anything unless you're part of a brokerage that has these kinds of trainings and like onboardings for new realtors,
right.
Which is rare to find. And nobody teaches you how to do anything when you're by yourself. Because again,
they see you as competition.
Why would I want to tell you my formula? Yeah. It's the Krabby Patty recipe.
For sure.
Like, don't ask me for
this
myself.
This is viral. You got to pay to play over here.
Exactly. So that's kind of the mentality that's really prevalent. So when you're in a team, everybody is incentivized to help each other.
You guys you get a percentage of the house, or what?
You get a percentage when you help somebody. Your team lead gets a percentage of everything that you sell. And those structures are different per team, but your team lead is incentivized to give you all the information you need, so that way you do good, so they do good. Just like you said earlier, when you eat, I eat.
Yeah. Is there a ceiling to how much money you can make as a team versus individually, or?
I would say there is a ceiling in the sense that you will have to work extra hard in a team setting to make what you can make individually, because you're getting a portion of the pie when you're on a team,
right,
as opposed to the whole pie. But you need to be able to put your head down, especially when you're new, when you're starting something, and say a portion. Zero is better than, 100 is better than nothing, you know? Right. What is the saying?
Oh,
I know what you're getting at, but
I know exactly what you're trying to say. I just can't say it.
Made perfect sense. Exactly. How you said it.
Yeah, the issue I see with a lot of young entrepreneurs, people in general, is we are really quick to be like, I got this on my own. I don't need your help because this, that, and the third. And the internet is my, encyclopedia, and also this idea that like, why would I want to help somebody else? Like very individualistic mentality, or like wanting all of the success, all of the riches, all of the everything too quick, like not willing to put their head down and be humble for a little while and work really, really hard. I'm still in that phase too, like learning. Yeah. And I think that's for everything too.
For sure.
Yeah. That's literally what I tell my dad all the time. I'm like, Dad, you're 66 years old, but see, like, people, like old people especially, they get caught in that mentality of like, oh, I'm too old to learn, or like I'm too old to change my habits. And I'm like completely opposed to that. I'm like, you're never too old to learn, you know?
You're never too old. Learning stops when you die.
Yeah.
You know.
Literally. Okay, so we have Applejacks had asked
I think I know.
Shouts to Applejacks.
Shout out Applejacks. She had asked advice on where to even start to buy. So I guess, like, what's the starting process on that? Like, when you first think I want to,
where do I go type thing?
Yeah, like, what's the first thing when I say I want a home?
The first thing when you say you want a home?
Contact Audrey.
Right? Literally. Shameless plug. Literally, talk to me. I got you. But
like, that's it. Just call me. I got you.
That's it. Call me. No, I'm so genuine about that. Even if it's not me, talk to a real estate agent. Talk to multiple real estate agents, because not all of them are good. Sorry, guys. But talk to real estate agents, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to people who have purchased houses before, and then go from there. That's going to give you the foundation that you need.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, homes is honestly like really intimidating. Like, I can't get over it, because there's times where like I think about every good reason to want to get a home, and it sounds like and feel like you just picture it in your head, like you come up with an image of like yourself in this home and stuff, and then like once it starts to get closer to that reality, you're like, oh shit, like I'm not gonna have an extra $2,000 to just throw out the window. Like essentially, like you're gonna have to change a lot of like your habits if you've gotten used to like living a certain way, bro. Like, you just can go to the club and spend all this money and just throw all this money away like it's nothing. I got a mortgage to pay. Like, we can't do that no more, bro.
So that's what I love that you said that, because that's what I do for clients is we're managing expectations.
Right.
what do you want? How would you be comfortable? And are you willing to sacrifice something for this thing?
Right.
So it's like, real estate is a long game. I think there's been a lot of rhetoric, a lot of talk about real estate being a quick money thing. Oh yeah, invest in this, get an Airbnb, you'll get cash flow. Then nobody talks about the fact that, that term, what is it, passive income?
Yeah.
In real estate is not really that real.
Yeah, you're not really breaking even, huh?
You're not breaking even. And you're not just sitting around as the checks come, as the money rolls in, as your bank account gets higher. You are working, or at least you had put in a certain amount of years worth of work to get to that point.
Right.
So I manage expectations. Hey, yeah, I know you want this 5-bedroom, 2-story house on an acre of land, but you're going to be paying $5,000, $6,000 a month in your mortgage. Are you willing to eat ramen noodles every day? You know, or do you want to be able to leave your house?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to live in the house? You know what I mean?
Right.
So having conversations about, especially first-time home buyers, we don't need the fancy thing. Just like I'll tell realtors too, or just anyone who has these bigger goals, you don't need the fancy car. You don't need all the nice clothes. You just need to put your head down and work. Yeah, and work, and make the smart, small decisions that compound over time. Yeah, it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I'm sure there's real estate agents that like don't give a fuck about the family situation and they're just trying to make a sale now.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's when people go bankrupt. That's when people lose their houses. Does that affect you guys?
Like if somebody loses their house, does that come back to you in any way or not really?
I mean, if you have a soul, yes.
Yeah. Like, so besides that, like that's really it though, right?
You can get sued, but I promise you there are so many real estate agents still actively practicing and working with all these lawsuits against them with clients who have horrible experiences. Damn. So you have to do your research on these people that you're working with.
Right.
And you have to like vet them because I'm not going to lie, like when you're in real estate and when you do any kind of job, you're doing it to make money. Right. You want to capitalize on that work. Yeah. But a smart agent versus somebody who's in it for the short term and is really greedy, has commission breath is what we call it, is going to recognize, goes back to the concept of when I eat, you eat. If I treat you right and I put you in the best position, you and I are going to continue to be successful together for a long time. Right. It's not just one transaction. It's I helped you and your family buy a house and we started small. We're going to sell that one. We're going to get you another house, another one, until you are living your dream. Yeah, living your dream, literally. Wow. And that happens. So that happens, like people literally stay with one agent throughout their whole like home buying. Absolutely. The heavy hitters in this industry, someone who's in my company, Jack Baumgartner. There are people like Chastity Rosales, like my broker, Douglas Van Nortwick. They understand that concept. They teach that concept, and they see their clients as people, repeat customers, and it's not just them. It's like their kids. Yeah, their cousins, they send everybody to them. Mm-hmm. And that's where the big money's at, really. What's the difference between there's an obvious difference, but as far as just like commercial real estate, like do you have to get a separate license to go into that? You do not have to get a separate license to go into commercial real estate, but it's another beast. Yeah. What are the key differences? Key differences: it's bigger money. It's longer transactions. It's more intricate. You have to know investment. You have to know that. I mean, as a residential real estate agent, you do have to know about the economy, but less so than a commercial real estate agent or someone who does both, because these are investments. So you need to understand like profit versus loss. You need to know this thing about, so there's a type of rent that's charged based off of maintenance. There's just a whole lot of money, extra numbers, things that you have to know outside of residential real estate. Yeah. But if you're able to get that down, it's lucrative. Commercial real estate is so lucrative. Yeah, we have like 3 commercial real estate agents in the brokerage that I'm in, and they can do 3 contracts, 3 deals a year, and make what I make. Make a killing. Off of like 40. So I just got my brother actually he had made what do they call him? Partner with his company, and so he's essentially like going into the real estate game, but he's selling like big apartment complexes and like multi-million-dollar deals almost essentially. So his commission is like super fat, but he was telling me about it. Like he hasn't obviously hit his first deal yet.
So he doesn't know like when his next paycheck is coming. And that's just like insane to me that some people are making like this big money, but it's coming like once or twice a year, 3 times a year.
Exactly. Some people think, and there's a whole thing going on right now with the National Association of Realtors lawsuit and all these things, that I think people think realtors just like racking all these checks and we just frolic around and like we're just like rich. You know?
It's just so easy for y'all. That's what people think.
No, everything that we make, our pay structure is different. Everything that we make, we have to put back into our business if we want to keep being successful, and we have to save it. And so it averages out to the same kind of pay as somebody who's working like a regular like job, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not like a doctor or somebody like that, but we pay for all of our own marketing and all of our own. There's a lot of fees that come with being a realtor, a lot of fees, and we pay for client gifts and all of these other things. You don't know when your next check is coming, and it is terrifying, and you have to be the type of person that can prepare for the worst, because I've also seen people who have, you know, been in so much debt. A lot of realtors don't even own property themselves,
right?
Because our pay structure is different.
Yeah. And so how do you like prepare for that? I mean, there's really no preparation. You just kind of just live below your means until
you live way below your means. So below your means. Don't get that BMW. I promise you don't need it. And that's one of the things that I learned from my mentors too. Like my mentor, she had this 2004 little red Chrysler for up until last year, you know, and she's a business owner, and she was a realtor, or is a realtor, and has been for 17 years. And then I had my broker that I worked with prior to the one that I have now. He had like this Ford truck that probably cost him $20K 11, 12 years ago, and just kept it. He never got a fancy car. He just kept buying properties, and that's where his money went. But keep your head down. Don't spend too much money. And that's the concept of also lifestyle creep. And that can happen when you purchase a home too. That when you start seeing big checks, because that's what happens with a lot of real estate agents, you're like, oh my gosh, I have this money to spend. No, I don't know when I'm going to get another check. Right. So don't spend it.
As much as I want to be a real estate agent, and as lovely as some of it sounds, it's like, it's not for everyone.
It's a grind.
It's not for everyone. But there's also the beautiful part of it where it's like, okay, let's say you've gotten to the point where you have your bills like taken care of. Yeah. You have a certain amount of money for that rainy day when you're not seeing any income come in, and you paid your taxes, because that's another thing. We pay your own taxes. We pay our own taxes, and it's so much money. Anyway, then you get to a point where all of that money is just like, now I can go out, now I can do these things.
And so you have to pay for your own like advertisement, like all of those signs that you see, like for sale signs, they got realtors on them, like all that's out of your own pocket?
All of that's out of your own pocket. Business cards, clothing,
videos,
marketing.
How does like the open houses and stuff work? Is that like your company setting that up, or do you guys
set that up?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know how it works with some other brokerages. There are brokerages that really help you out, but at the end of the day, you're still paying for it because you pay for your split through the company. So you're paying them a portion every time you sell or every month, whatever. When you do an open house, we get all the little goodies. Maybe there's like cookies and water, and we'll get all the papers and do all of our own research signs. All of those things you pay for. All of those things you set up on your own. And marketing that open house.
So like how does it work? Like is there can there be multiple agents assigned to one house and you guys are fighting over it?
Not really. No. Like in an open house situation, when agents do open houses, it's to get buyers. So there are tons of houses on the market that agents can sit in. So there's no fight there. Yeah. What I want to make a point too of, to sellers at least, is when your agent does your open house, just know it's for buyers, for them. Because open houses only are like contribute like 1.5% of the time to the sale of the house. 1.5% of the time does a buyer from an open house purchase that same home.
Wow.
So essentially they're just going to just kind of acquire information for the most part, because a lot of times it's not really the house that they end up getting.
Yeah. So the buyer will walk in and be like, ooh, this is not. A lot of the time it's your nosy neighbors that want to walk into that house a lot of the time. But let's say it's somebody who saw your open house sign. So me as a real estate agent, I'm waiting for the person that walks in that doesn't have a realtor and is looking to buy a house. Not the person who's just like on a Sunday.
Just looking at
homes.
Right.
It's a nice place here, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And those are usually the ones that talk the most too, which is crazy. It's like they're trying to.
And they're asking the price, like they're about to pull the trigger, bruh.
And they will give you your information, and you will never hear from them again. It's so crazy. But anyway.
See, I'm kind of like that though, because I'm the kind of guy that I like to just. Like, yeah, I'm nosy. Like, I want to just acquire information.
And you can do that. So, yeah,
like,
that's
I'll just,
okay.
like, if I'm in the area, like, I'll just pull up and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So, because that's exactly what happened with your laugh was ugly, fool. But,
sorry, bro. It's just funny.
But, yeah, so.
I can just picture you walking in there, bro.
Yeah, it was actually really weird. Like, I think the first door, like, the first house I went to was, like, closed. And I was like, what? I was like, I could have sworn this was the house.
Yes. You know what happened that day? Oh, my gosh. I'm about to expose myself. And so that day.
Oh, so you went to one of her open houses?
Yeah, I went to one. It was in Horizons. It was like right down the street. And so, yeah, you know, like I've been talking about buying a house for like a long time, but I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I just keep talking about it.
That open house was meant to be so much better than what it was. But the night before, this is something I learned. Realtors love to party. And I learned my limits now. But
yeah, I had seen a video about that.
We were out.
Yeah.
And I didn't get home until 5 a.m.
Uh-huh.
So
she didn't make it back.
And that, no, not like that. So that open house, you know, it started, I think, at 11 a.m. So I went to sleep. By the time I woke up, I already had to be there with all. And I like to get to I'm really responsible no matter what this story says about me. But
like, it's a one-time thing.
It was a one-time thing. But I like to get to my places like at least 30 minutes to an hour early to prep and like, you know, make the place nice. And that was just not happening that day.
What do you mean by make the place nice? Like, what do you do?
There's a lot of psychology behind making a house and making the situation enticing to someone who wants to buy something. So I'm bringing my scent teas, my little plugins. I'm playing music. I'm also, if there's a TV there, I'm turning on the TV to have some other things. I'm looking at the orientation of the furniture, if there's furniture in the house, to see how does this house flow right now.
Who provides that furniture?
So usually if it's like a resale house, it's whoever lived there.
It's like their furniture?
It's their furniture. Yeah. So like, let's say I were to sell this house or something and I wanted to showcase this area, I would tell you guys, get rid of this coffee table, like move. I would just be like, you know, chairs right here and that's it, because floor space matters. People want to see, you know, how can I use the space? How much space is there? Yeah. So I'm looking at all of those things. I'm setting up my little papers. My business cards are right at the door, because that's the first thing you'll probably see when you come in, and the last thing you'll see when you get out.
Can you bring beer to this type of thing?
You can bring beer. You can bring.
Dude. You can get these people a little like messy.
I've had mimosas. I've had mimosas at my open houses.
Shit. That's dope. It's like, let's go have mimosas and check out this house.
Yes. I did like a $500,000 open house, and we had mimosas. Some agents go as far as to do like, it's very rare in El Paso because we're just not that market, but like Botox and mimosas.
What the
what?
Yeah, Blood Drive or the Drip Drive people.
Botox? That's
they've
insane.
done open houses too. That's like at a certain level, you know. So
they just get a little tipsy and they start loving the house a little bit more, bro.
Yes,
they start getting real comfortable. Yeah. It's like, damn, I could see myself here. Six shots of Henny later.
Exactly.
You're like, this is my kind of home.
Yeah, and exactly. Do you find like when whoever buying, like just from what you've seen when you're buying a home, have you bought a home yourself? Yeah, from yourself.
From myself, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, do you
Did you
know?
pay yourself?
Huh?
Did you pay yourself, or you just put it in the home?
So technically, on this one, I didn't pay myself because I got a good deal from a builder that I have a really good relationship with. So that was technically taken off of the price of the home for me.
Okay.
But in a normal situation, if I were to go resell, I would get my commission off of the home.
Yeah, and so back to that question, like, when do you, for some reason, you know when a house is like, that's your house? Like, you just feel it? You
do know.
Yeah.
And I usually tell buyers, you're going to know. Because when you walk into a house, you're like, you know, well, I could make this work. Don't ever tell yourself, I could make this work. Unless I tell you, hey, based off of your situation, we need
this is probably the best we can get you.
This is the best, exactly. But if you have the world at your, you know, then if you know, you know.
Yeah.
When you walk in, you're like, this is the one. Everybody knows when it's the one.
Yeah. And how many times, like, how many houses on average are you showing someone before they find it?
Like 5.
5?
Honestly, yeah. It's not that many usually. Yeah. Some clients do need Oh my gosh. I work with some people and it's not a problem. I will do it. I will do it. I promise you. But 6 months of looking at houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't find the right lot. That was the big issue. Or I had another client who was like, I need the kitchen to be open between a staircase and the living room, like a little hall. Mm-hmm. And so I would try and find houses like that, but they were resale, which is, you know, someone else has lived in it. So then she would find little issues about other things about the house. So it's just like usually 5, but sometimes.
Sorry, I just have you ever had to sell a house? So it's like there was like a prior like a murder or something, or
my gosh, I haven't had one of those where I was like fully aware, but I have sold in the historic district and like by UTEP, like downtown, and those homes are built in 1905.
Yeah, those little small ones.
Somebody definitely died there. Yeah, like.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
But I haven't
probably
had one
through
where
a heart
I knew.
attack, not like a murder or nothing.
I mean, shit happens, bro. Like,
I have a ghost story.
Oh,
do you?
Yes.
Really?
Oh my God. Do y'all believe in ghosts?
No, but
I'm like right in the.
it depends how good the story
I've
is,
had
bro.
some paranormal experiences.
Right. So I'm not super like
into them, like
into
you don't really
it,
believe them,
but I can't even remember which street it was. But it's like 2 streets down from UTEP. Is it?
Avoid UTEP homes, everybody. That's not where you want to buy.
Those are older homes. And my client was like, I need that area. I love that area. Mm-hmm. So we only looked at that area. And he was out of town. So I did FaceTime showings with him. And I had walked up to the staircase. It was a beautiful big brick house. And there was a staircase leading up to the front door. And then there was a white cat that was like chilling in the area. And I love cats. So I was like, oh my gosh, come here, you know, while I'm looking at him. And I'm like, oh, come here. I look at my shoe. My lace is untied. So I go down to untie my lace. And I look up after I'm untying my lace and I snap up. And there's a woman. I know it sounds so crazy. There's a woman.
Like a figure? Like you clearly saw
I clearly saw her.
Yeah,
and I'm by
true.
myself on the street. Like, it's just empty for some reason. And she's like in a dress and she has dark black hair. And it was just like a boom, like in the movies. Literally. Like the nun, like boom. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And it's gone.
Yo. Shut the heck up.
Yes.
Shut the front door, bruh.
Shut the front door.
Not only that, so I'm like, oh, please, Lord, like, please, you know, don't take me today. I get on the FaceTime call. I'm walking through the house. The house is super cold.
Dude.
It's so cold. And the cat that was outside had followed me inside, which I was like, oops, like, I don't know if this cat is allowed to be in here, but oh well. And the cat is walking me through the house. So I'm thinking this is a spiritual guide.
Yeah. Like, you gotta go, cat.
Yeah. And we get to one of the doors and I just had a feeling. I was like, this room is going to be creepy. So I open the door. It's freezing cold in that room. And that's a ghost. Yeah. So I was like, so here's the room. And I walked out and like, I didn't slam the door or anything. I left it open. Door slams behind me. Slams.
Maybe there's just a hell of a breeze going through that.
That window was closed. That window was closed.
Yes.
I swear. So maybe it wasn't a ghost experience. Maybe I was tripping that day, but.
Yeah. I don't know.
Everybody has a story. I've had some. I used to have sleep paralysis. You know what that is?
Yes, I get that.
Dude, that's scary stuff right there. But I don't want to get into the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. So if in El Paso, where would you say is like the best side of town to buy a house right now? Does it depend?
It depends on a lot of different factors. If we're worried about price and your monthly mortgage payment, you're going to look at, if you want something newer, the Northeast is coming up. Mm-hmm. And even Horizon.
I like Horizon. But that little neighborhood, that gated community they're making in the Northeast, those houses are kind of going for a lot, but they're really nice, right?
Campo del Sol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
They're really nice.
Is it the one with the lazy river or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good area. That's a beautiful area.
What are they gonna be like big homes, or are they just like modern but small homes?
They range anywhere from like 1,600 square feet all the way up to 2,800 square feet. So it's medium-sized homes to huge homes.
Gotcha.
And it's a gorgeous area. It's 2,300 acres of development, and we're in phase 1.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about is the west side still as expensive as like people say?
The west side is expensive.
Yeah.
It is. It's more expensive than most other parts. Like the price per square foot is a lot higher than most other parts of El Paso.
And why is that?
Damn.
Because
price per square foot.
It's kind of like the way it's grown. It's just been coveted as this richer area. It is a nicer area. The developers who have been there historically have made it nicer. the builders who have been there historically have built bigger houses, it has more to offer than most places.
Yeah. Wow.
So, so Jerry had asked a question too, talking about, do you only work with first-time home buyers, or do you also work with like investors?
I work with everybody who wants to buy and sell a house. So it's not just first-time home buyers. I also work with investors, first-time investors, or seasoned veteran investors.
Gotcha. And we have a few more questions. I believe, was it Alexis that asked the question? It was Lady Alexis, yes. She had asked, what are your favorite books?
What are my favorite books?
Yeah.
Okay, so first I started off with what everybody starts with, which is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
That's a big one.
That was, I can credit that book to being the first thing that made me think about money in a different way and made me decide that I want to be successful. And then I'm reading one right now called, what is it called? Oh, I forget the name every time, but I know it. One second. It's called Disruptive Thinking by T.D. Jakes. Honestly.
Oh, he's a pastor.
He is a pastor. It's an amazing book.
Wait, is it the black guy, or which one is
Yeah.
T.D. Jakes is him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
What's that
so
about?
much knowledge. So from what I can gather, after I think I'm in chapter 5 so far, it's about being willing to think differently and go outside of the environment that you're in and just be open to different things. Like, he's talking about statistics of minority children mostly right now in the first 5 chapters, and what happens to people who don't have access to certain resources, education,
Right.
And how you can overcome those kinds of boundaries.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
Sounds
a
like a
good
really
book.
good
Yeah.
read.
And also, Trey asks, what do you think about the market right now? What's the market like right now?
I think the market is more normal than it's been in the last couple of years. COVID twisted everything around. It was a different time. And now we're getting back to a market that is more comfortable for buyers and sellers. I think this is better than it's been historically, but if you're looking at it from the last 6 years or so, you're probably going to say these are hard times.
Yeah.
But it's actually historically better than it's been in a long time.
And can you project? Are projections pretty accurate, or
No.
no?
We could, in 2019, it was a buyer's market. And then the pandemic happened. Nobody could predict that.
Right.
And all of a sudden it became a seller's market. People were I literally, as an assistant at that time, we helped somebody who had purchased their house in 2020 and sold it in 2021, and they gained $100,000 in net profit.
Damn,
So it
what a blessing.
switched.
Imagine being that guy.
Exactly.
Even guys selling cars at the time, bro. My boy bought a Hellcat at the time, and ended up selling it for like an extra $15,000.
Jeez.
The interest rates were
crazy
so
stuff.
low.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So it became a seller's market. It was also really difficult for other people, but it's right now the market is okay.
What happened in 2008? Because I always hear about that. I'm curious about like what's the, obviously like it was a big like housing crash or something like that, right? So what happened in 2008?
Yeah, so in 2008, the financial crisis was that there were a bunch of financiers, mortgage lenders, and things like that giving bad loans. So there weren't as many guidelines as there are now.
Bad loans meaning they didn't have the money to give those loans out?
The buyers didn't.
The
have
buyers
the money.
didn't have the money.
Yeah, so they're giving loans to people that are like unqualified buyers.
Oh,
like they're not
okay.
qualified.
Exactly. Because at that time it was like easy to get a loan. So, there were all these defaults on the loan, and the banks, everybody ended up backwards. And that's what happened.
And so the prices of houses completely crashed, or?
So the prices of houses did plummet.
Yeah.
But it also
nobody could afford them.
could afford houses.
Yeah.
So it was the lose-lose situation. And a lot of people think that, there's going to be another housing crash and all of these things right now. That's not the case. We will never have another, hopefully, 2008 financial crisis, because there are so many more guidelines to getting a mortgage loan or just a loan in general.
So it was terrible. Like it was one of the worst things that happened.
It was terrible. Yeah.
It's hard to let go of money, man. Especially like when you worked hard for it and stuff, and you put time in for that. You just to let it go, and even like a home is a big purchase, but like even to know you're in it for that long, it's like, dang, what if like after 2 years I want to like back out or move, or
So this goes back to the whole conversation about perspective, and I love my best friend for this. She's the type of person, like, we're night and day. She's the type of person, like, so what, like, money comes back, don't worry about it. It'll be,
spend it, get it right back.
Exactly. So she gives me that kind of like, and we've been best friends for like 10 years now, that opposite end of like, it's okay. You have so much more life left. It's not that serious. Like, there are people who go bankrupt and, go through some hard times, but then they have the flip end situation happen a couple years later when you figure it out, and you only figure it out by doing it. Honestly. Literally. So I tell anybody who's scared, like, you can stay scared and nothing will happen, or you can try it, and if it doesn't work, we try a different way, and so on and so forth.
When it comes to like your own personal life, what are some things, because we do try to revolve the pod around like mental health, so what are some things that, like, challenges you've maybe had to overcome, like growing up or even recently?
Ooh, that's hard. The most vulnerable podcast.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
No, actually, guys, I gotta go. No,
look, whatever you're comfortable like expressing,
Yeah, honestly, I'm an open book. The things that I've had to overcome were having this chip on my shoulder about needing to get to the next level, always needing to improve all the time.
Right.
And it sounds cool. It sounds nice to be like, what's next? But it's very taxing and it's very stressful. It's exhausting on your mental health, because you never feel satisfied and you never feel happy when you're not satisfied.
Right.
I think peace comes from satisfaction. And when you're always looking to the next thing, you're not present. So I've had to deal with not being present in certain situations. And what's helped me on that is like a spiritual journey that I have gone on, honestly. That's taught me to be more present. And then with that is also not taking care of yourself physically, and not taking care of, maybe you don't have good eating habits. Maybe you don't have, like, your coping mechanisms are really bad. So I was doing a lot of things that were not good before I started real estate. But
I hear that a lot of like salespeople, like, that like, because like essentially your money revolves around selling, that a lot of times like they go through like these crashes sometimes where like business isn't good, or they haven't had a sale in a while. And a lot of times, like, I know a car salesman, he got really big, and he said he ended up like eating a lot just for like comfort eating, because he was like, man, like, I can't make a sale, like I haven't made a sale in a month and a half, and and they end up relying on things to that.
A lot of a lot of salespeople, what I find is that we're super neurotic and we're really hard on ourselves. I mean, you can find that anywhere, but I've just seen a concentration of it, that personality type in sales. And I mean, it's the number 7 most people kill themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
And
suicide.
Real estate agents are number 7 on that list.
Okay.
So it's like, you don't know when your next paycheck is going to come. And we all know that will change all of your circumstances if you don't have money. So so what's like the routine
for us, or for you? Like, I mean, you said it's like your spiritual journey, but like, what is that routine? What does that look like?
So I've had to work more on the routine, because also part of being a realtor is that you're kind of at the whim of the lead. You're at the whim of the product that you're selling, and you need to be available all the time. So I've kind of been able to now cut that down to a 7 to 8 work schedule a day.
Like hours?
Like 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh, okay.
That's when I'm working.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's the 13-hour day.
And a lot of the time, though, sometimes I'm working all 13 hours. Sometimes I'm working maybe 4 of those 13 hours.
Like in and out?
In and out, yeah.
Right.
Maybe one day I have a really chill day and I'm just taking phone calls and I'm just doing paperwork, or I'm working on my marketing material for the next day. And then some days I have 13 hours of work to do. But that's really helped me manage, like, the time for myself and the time that I give to my business. And that's also something I had to recognize, was that I am not the real estate. Like, the real estate is a part of what I do. And a lot of people have a hard time separating their profession from who they are. And I think that hurts your mental health as well.
Most definitely.
So what do you do? What are things outside of work that you try to implement to that, like, just go into self-care or just like do you helps you wind down?
Like
and
what
stuff?
keeps Audrey, you know, like sane and
cool
healthy?
and chill.
Yeah, cool.
Spending time with my friends, spending time with my family, having a good laugh. Sometimes I'm like total couch potato. I'm gonna watch 3, 4, 5 episodes in a row of my favorite show.
What are you watching?
Right now I'm watching True Blood.
True Blood?
Yes. Have you ever seen it?
Nah.
Is it the one where like they're in Florida?
It's like,
and it's like the detective or the cop, or it's I don't know. Maybe.
So they're in some country part of the country, and they are vampires. It's like vampires and shapeshifters. It's good. Powers and stuff? They got powers. Yeah. They got it's drama. I like reality shows. I like cooking TV shows and stuff like that. Yeah. So sometimes I'm just rotting in bed watching TikTok, watching shows, or working out has been a good one for me too. Like especially lifting weights. I really like to lift weights, and it makes me think about what I'm doing in that moment and nothing else. And then after you're too tired to do anything, so you're just you
feel more satisfied with yourself.
You feel more satisfied. I also really like self-care things, like pampering yourself.
Yeah, like skincare and stuff like that.
Skincare, hair care, all of those things. I could spend hours doing that. And then lately I've been going on walks.
That's really therapeutic. Go for a good walk.
Nice walk, bro. We don't walk here in El Paso, bro.
No, nobody.
There's nowhere to walk.
See, and that's the thing. It's like probably one of the least walkable cities I've ever seen, dude. And it's like I always tell him, like I would love to walk, bro, but you get hit out this like outside, bro. Like they don't know what like nobody accounts for people walking. Like if you're walking in El Paso, it's like, oh, like something's wrong.
Like something's wrong. You don't have the means to ride.
It's kind of scary, dude, because I catch myself too sometimes, like, oh, I was looking at my phone too long. Like,
like there's places I can easily walk to, bro.
Yeah.
That I don't, but it's just like we're just so used to hopping in our car, you know.
Yeah. Whereas like where else is like New York? That's like
New York, or even just like there's certain places like in Canada, bro. They'd walk to the store, bro.
It's normal to walk
probably
to
like
corner
15 or 20 minutes, but they're still gonna walk, you know.
Right.
Or I took an architecture class, and it's also something I'm super interested in. So I don't know, for the future, I think I want to go into city planning eventually, maybe. But like foreign countries, they're older, so they didn't have the cityscape idea that we have. So their cities are walkable, and they have third places is what everybody's been talking about. That's outside of your work, outside of your home, and it's somewhere where you can go relax and also communicate with different people. So
see, and we don't have that.
We don't have that. So not only is it more healthy to be in a walkable city, like physically, but like mentally, you have more connections with your community, and it's safer. So that is tough.
Yeah, let me blow your mind a little bit, bro, or just like give you perspective. Like in El Paso, bro, think about when you're walking, how many like parking lots you see. Big ass, ginormous parking lots that like people most of the time aren't even like using. Like for example, like even down the street.
Just all the shopping centers,
bro.
And stuff, like,
so shopping center, like rare, like that's why it's so hard. Like a place can be like a 5-minute drive and like a 35-minute walk or longer, because of there's just so much more like just like freaking concrete to go to, bro. Yes. And it's just like in other cities, it's all about city planning. It's not like that everywhere else. Like you just have to, in El Paso, you're literally just walking through these, like it's just the way it's planned is it's more suitable to driving. And
I have a friend who's in engineering and all of that, city engineering stuff, and his mom's been in real estate for a long time, and then my mentor is a part of the city. And what I've learned through talking to them is that El Paso's market, the way El Paso makes money is property and taxes.
Taxes is bad here.
We don't have tourism. We don't have these things that are bringing in tons of people yearly, so that way they can spend money and make our city, rich.
Yeah.
So what do you make money off of then? You tax people on where they drive, where they park their car. You tax people on the buildings that they sit in and the buildings that they live in. And you charge high taxes, so that way the city keeps running. But it does suck.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We're like, this is the worst place with taxes, like in Texas, right? Or something like that.
Honestly, in the country, we have some of the highest taxes.
Like some of the highest taxes.
Highest
bro.
Property taxes.
Even, we had some people from Cali. There was a food truck at Neep, and they had just moved over here from Cali, and they were saying like, yo, Cali was so expensive, but like we're thinking about going back because
That's
your taxes
insane.
are so bad here. She was like, y'all are just paying all this money to taxes over here. Like it's so.
But I mean, like taxes do suck, but our cost of living is really low.
Yeah.
And also property values are lower than most of the country too. So it's like you can live in California if you want that lifestyle, but you're gonna be in a super expensive house and you don't get the same
like amenities
or same space.
But LA's the same as far as walking. Like you got to drive everywhere in LA, bro. Everything's so far.
LA's terrible.
LA is, I mean, my best friend lives in LA and she tells me I'm like, I couldn't put up with that, especially if you do want to walk, then you're having to deal with a lot of crazy stuff on the street.
Homeless people and
and like dirty streets and stuff. That's what I like about El Paso is our streets are clean for the most part. For the most part.
I don't know, bro. Like,
it's getting worse.
I've actually experienced really bad, like, bro, when I run, like around my neighborhood, I'm stepping on fucking glass and like just all sorts of shit, bro. We don't pull the weeds here. Like, who's in charge of that, bro? Is that the city? Like,
there's no real landscaping businesses here.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my gosh, our contractors are.
No, low-key.
Our trash.
Low-key, I haven't seen nobody do no type of yard work at all.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think that's like a cultural thing in El Paso.
Probably.
Like, we just don't take care of our yards. A lot of people. Not
it's the way of the Mexicanos. We don't.
Bro.
Fuck them weeds.
It's nature.
Are you in a relationship right now?
I am.
Yes. How long have you guys been together?
So we have been together a total of 5 years, I guess. We did break up for a long time.
That's crazy. Okay. Wait, are you including that? 5 years, like in that break?
No, so if that break is included, then it's 4 years.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's still time. It's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time.
Yeah. Should you date someone with different political or religious views, or do you think it can work? That can work.
I feel very strongly about my political views. Religious views, as long as they don't pose a huge conflict with my political views. Then cool.
It's okay.
So you're very passionate about like politics and everything?
I'm very passionate about politics. I believe politics is life. I don't think that people recognize that enough. Politics are not just semantics and people with their agenda. No, politics are how you live. If your politics are off, all of us are in a worse situation.
Yeah. And if you don't get into politics, essentially you're just there, like
you just let people do whatever they want to you.
Essentially you're just like a freaking toy, like you're just being controlled.
Yeah. So if you're cool with that,
so you need to essentially be good at politics, but I suck at politics. Like,
it's just
I get too emotional. That's my problem. Like, I don't know how to just like discuss opposing views with people. I mean, I can, don't get me wrong, but it ends a lot of times it ends up getting like more emotional than it should, or like I leave the conversation like mad,
upset. I mean, I get that. Like, I feel that all the time. I have friends, genuinely, I can call them friends, who have opposing political views, but like, do I still, the emotional part of me is like, something's wrong with you. Like, that's still like, and they believe that about me too. So I don't think I could marry or date somebody that's like that like has opposing political views, because we would constantly be at war.
So you couldn't date somebody like on the others, like that, like was, what are you, like a Democrat or a Republican?
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Like, would you mind dating anybody on either side of the party, like on either party, or things to that extent?
On the extremist side, I definitely would be like, you're doing a little too much.
like a Fonzie.
Yeah, it's just shout out to Fonzie. I don't know sometimes the way I see it, like, it's a terrible way to look at it, but it's just more so politics, because it's so, like, I feel like there's so much more. It's so grimy, and like, I don't know, there's just so much corruption and just so many things that go into it. So sometimes I'm just like, do I really want to like spend my time and invest my emotional energy into like this? Politics?
If you don't spend it actively doing, making sure that things are the way you want them to go, then you spend that time and you spend that emotional effort later when you're getting screwed over. That's how I see it.
That's big.
See, the way I see it right now is like, if I'm just focused on like, we're just trying to make a good podcast, bro. I'll just try to make good content and like so that's why it's just like, I rather just not even get into it. But I mean, I can be very, for sure, very passionate about certain topics, especially. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine. But
you're about to say something petty, bro.
Yeah,
I want to hear it.
No, I actually had a crazy, like, me and my cousin and then one of my other best friends always get into it about guns. I don't want to get. That's why I don't want to get too into it. But yeah, they're just like they have their own guns, and like it's just like, yeah, we, even though we're so close and we still love each other, those conversations, like, they get fucking heated.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, are you serious? Like, how can you even think like that, you know? Yeah, it's wild.
And that's why, like, I just know, like, everyone can do what they want to do, date who you want to date, but if you're not having conversations about politics, it's going to affect you at some point. Like, even if you're not talking about it, something's going to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of how that's where I stood too, because we had talked about that a little bit in like one of our episodes, and I feel the same way. Like if they're too conflicting, there's just no way, like you're bound to just crash one day.
And then raising children,
trying
to create a family, what do you do with your children, and how do you speak to them about these things that are very contentious? Like, that's too much.
How do you feel about open relationships, guys? Do you feel like those, like, is that a thing?
Open relationships? Yeah. I think they're a thing. And I've, like, recognized that way more as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
Yes, because, like,
they're really common.
When I was, like, a young teenager, I was like, how could you do that? Like, that's immoral.
Yeah.
But I've gotten older. A lot of, especially older people, are in open relationships. They've just been together so long. They're just like chill about it. They don't like each other. Maybe they just don't want to get a divorce.
That's what I feel.
25 years.
Is it just more like you guys just want to see other people, but you don't want to just say that?
You don't want to say that. Yeah. Honestly, I'm pretty open about open relationships. I don't think it's always that you don't like each other. And that you just don't want to be together, but you're not ready to part ways. I think sometimes some people are just non-monogamous. Like, they're just not meant for that life.
Yeah, that's just not what they practice.
You know what I've actually heard, bro? That, like,
I'm converting Muslim.
A natural way of they're beginning to realize, like, monogamy, like, is just kind of... It's not conducive to, like, the way humans are naturally, like, just wired, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you basically, like, what a way I've heard is, like, you get together with this one person, you guys raise kids, raise a family. But then after that, like, there's really, like, if you want to be together, but... Like, do you really have to? Like, who's saying you have to be with this person the entire life? Like, you guys had kids with each other or with one another. You raised them good.
But you're just shitting on the hopeless romantic right now.
No.
Are you a hopeless romantic?
No. See, that's the thing. I am.
Oh, you're saying in general.
I feel like I'd want, like, I don't plan on doing that, but that's just
You're a freaking liar.
No, it's just that's what I've heard that people talk about. And yeah, it makes me think, like, wow, is that because there's so many divorces, bro.
Yeah.
Like, people getting divorced, like, left and right.
I think people get divorced because they don't go into things thinking enough. Like, they're like, I really like this person. Yeah. They look good. So let's put a ring on it. Like,
they're just completely going off those emotions.
I think people don't think enough when they're getting into these long-term commitments. Just the same with the house. There's a lot that you have to vet. There's a lot you have to do.
And a lot of people don't have the right conversations. Like, you know, they don't talk about, like, what they really believe and what's, like, what they stand strong on. Like, a lot of times, sometimes they just jump into stuff. You know?
Yeah. Which can work for some people. Some people, like, stay together forever and are in love forever. I've seen that. But on the open relationships topic, I think that some people just really aren't monogamous. Like, you look to the animal kingdom and, you know, the most primal parts of our world. Some species are monogamous, like penguins, I think it is. And then some of them...
penguins are so wholesome, bro.
They're so
penguins.
cute. They're so cute. Yeah.
Penguins are monogamous? I didn't know that.
I think so. I think
not all of them.
Like a life partner.
And emperor penguins or something else. That is kidding. Are they? I don't know.
I think so. I think you know what? You watch Happy Feet. Emperor penguin. That man had like all the ladies.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Damn.
But yeah, open relationships or whatever. Do what you want.
Yeah.
So where do you stand on like the whole hierarchy of like man and woman and like the career aspect? Like, can a woman be more invested in their career than a man, and it's still like, is that like a regular thing? Like, do you think that could work?
I do. I've never believed in traditional roles as like, I think that they're there for a reason. They do work. Traditional roles work. The man is a financial provider and does all these things, and the woman is the nurturer and the homemaker.
Right.
But I don't think that in a modern like day and age that's necessarily true. Like, if a woman makes more money than the man, or is the main provider, breadwinner, then the man or whoever, and we're just talking about straight relationships.
Yeah.
The man has to just play that other part, because there is a balance of energies in a relationship.
So do you think the man has to basically become more of the nurturer, like just more of like the at-home guy, like, honey, I just cooked dinner tonight, like?
Yeah, and I think there are relationships like that, and there are relationships that have failed because they weren't allowed to be in their true nature. Like, because some people, you've met gentle giants, like you've met men who are, you know, relaxed, really sweet, like gardening and cooking and shit. Excuse me, language. But
fine.
like, and then there are women who are kind of like me, who are more like serious, less emotional,
go-getters and stuff.
And so if there's
really independent.
Yeah, so it's just about the balance of energies within a relationship. If we're just talking about straight people.
Do you feel like someone has to lead in a relationship?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think, like, again, it's a balance. Like, maybe I lead in this aspect and you lead in this aspect.
Yeah,
and
for
maybe,
sure.
Yeah, so we have our parts that we play. Like, there's a whole, you know, there's a whole bunch of things under the umbrella of how a relationship works. So as long as you're performing well in your part, then it'll work.
Yeah, you guys bring different attributes to the table, you know?
Yeah, or you're meeting in the middle about it. Like, hey, I saw this thing the other day, or actually it was a while ago, and it was like, your partner might not be able to bring you 100% of themselves all the time, so you have to make up for whatever percentage they're missing. So if I come to somebody and I say, or my boyfriend, and I say, you know, I'm at 50% today. I had a horrible, exhausting day, and I'm not going to be able to make dinner, and I'm not going to be able to do whatever I usually do. Then can that person come in with their other 50% for you in that aspect?
Yeah.
So,
but also, people don't communicate like that, realistically, unless it's a good relationship. See, like that was perfect the way you put it, but instead, it's like you come home, you're like, why the fuck do I have to make dinner? Like, just like shit like that, bro.
And coming from a traditional home, that's what we're used to. Like, we're programmed to see, like, you know, dad being the one mad that dinner's not being made. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what we're used to. That's what's been normalized.
Yeah. So it's like we just have to get better at communicating and listening to each other and coming from a softer place. I'm not going to say that I'm necessarily good at that. And it's not the picture that I have either growing up.
Right.
Do you want kids?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So if because you work so much, you know, have you thought about, like, if you were to have kids, like what, like, just what things you would, like, put into place, or how you would go about that situation, you know? Because I feel like you're so focused in your career, and what are your thoughts on that?
I don't really think about it right now.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to work right now.
Yeah.
So the idea for me is that eventually I won't be in a hustler position.
Right.
Like, that's also something too. My life goal, my ideal world is not one where I work. I do this because I need to pay bills, and also because
that's what we're all chasing.
That's what we're chasing. Exactly. I genuinely do like real estate, and I like working hard. I'm addicted to working, honestly.
Right.
But eventually, I do plan on relaxing.
Yeah.
And then focusing on being a mother.
Yeah.
Or even
having
if
a little Audrey.
Having a little Audrey. Yes. Even if I don't have kids, like, the goal is to just eventually relax.
Yeah.
Maybe I raise some cows on a farm or something.
A farm?
Dude, I've thought about living.
I can't live on a farm, bro.
It's actually, it's crazy. Like, the isolation.
I feel like I could see you, like, hit a pickup truck and on some land,
like,
bro.
on some land. That's really how I be trying to live, bro. But yeah, it's really like
I want a condo in New York, bro.
Like, you gotta have money.
You want the high life?
Yeah, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, bro. Yeah, we need to have
too.
something like a vacation out there, like some just, you know, like something temporary for New York.
Yeah.
You can't live in New York, bro.
I don't know, bro.
Some people are built for it.
Dude,
some people are.
I just live in New York.
I want to wake up in this condo, bro. Go down, walk to my favorite coffee shop. Like, just see people hustling, bro. Like,
walk to your badass gym. Everybody starts at 4 a.m.
Right.
Get the fuck out of my way, man. What the fuck, man?
You see yourself just fully immersed in that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Ak, let me get it to Ak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's a cool life. I feel like I want to live that life at one point too.
Yeah.
As like a phase though.
Like a fast life type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's cool.
Yeah. Where do you like to like, if you're gonna go out in El Paso? Oh no, like I ask this question all the time. If someone were to visit you in El Paso, take me to a day with them that you're taking them, like, from start to finish, what are you doing with them?
From start to finish, I might want to take them if they like coffee, because I like coffee. We might go to like cool coffee spots in El Paso, because if we have anything, honestly, we have cool coffee spots.
Yeah, like what? Which one do you like?
I like 210.
210's dope.
Overall, at Montecillo. Montecillo is so nice.
Have you been to the Pink Cloud?
I haven't yet, and
That's
I love
nice.
pink. It's my favorite color,
Yeah.
and I want to go. I want to go so bad. I might take them to Neep Collective.
Okay. Hey, we about to start a brunch, bro. We can have a brunch truck.
Brunch,
Yeah, that's so
different.
cool. That's so cool.
We need a brunch. We need a good brunch.
We do. So I'll take them somewhere like that where it's like people are there. There's different options for food, drinking. You know, everybody loves booze. I might take them to a good Mexican restaurant here, because if like
You got to name drop them.
Yeah,
Which
I was
one?
gonna say, is it
Ooh,
Cometa
ooh.
or is it something else?
Honestly, I like Cometa, but that's for me like a 2 a.m. after
Yeah.
bar.
Okay.
For
Like,
sure.
yeah, I'm not going to impress. They
Yeah.
might look at me crazy.
Yeah.
Let me think. Lately, I've been liking. This is not a Mexican spot. I like Grove Brunch.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, y'all
That's
put me on
lit.
the spot.
No, that's lit. Grove is lit.
Yeah.
I think that's the first brunch.
Carlos and Mickey's is fire.
Carlos and Mickey's is good.
I would probably take someone there as far as Mexican, because it's authentic Mexican food, but the vibe there is like you can get. They also play into the more tourism too, like though you can get a big ass margarita, like
Yeah.
And the
it's just-
sombreros and everything.
They have music there.
Mariachis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Mixed
come we've
foods
never
too.
been?
Which one?
Mixed foods. I have a list actually of places. So
Mixed foods, like
like I like fusion.
Oh,
So I might take
yes.
somebody to Casa Pantera too
Yeah.
for like a dinner,
Mm-hmm.
like because it's fusion.
That's different.
yeah.
It's
But
different.
that's cool.
But
He
it's
hasn't.
good.
I don't think. Have you been there?
I actually been there once, bro. I didn't realize it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I have been there
Yeah.
once.
And
Or-
I like that nighttime kind of like dark vibe too.
Yeah.
Like that's a cool
Yeah.
place.
Taco Neta.
Taco
you ever had
Neta
it?
is so good. Yes,
Dude.
actually, yes, that would be a great like lunch
Yeah.
place.
Have you ever been there?
Nah, not Neta, bro, but that's
Bro.
it's the hype. It's what everybody talks about.
Oh my
So
god.
good.
Yeah, it's 10 out of 10
And
for
they have
sure.
this hibiscus margarita. Ooh.
Yeah, top tier.
You were talking about something off on the menu that was really good.
Bro, the sweet potato.
Sweet potato.
Oh my god, chef's kiss, bro.
I have not had that.
No, so
No.
it's like a sweet, it's like a camote or whatever, but it's so hard to describe, but it's crack, bro. Like it's good. What about if you're gonna go out? Like where do you want to get like litty? You know?
Oh, it's changing because I don't
Yeah.
really like. I like the idea of going out and going to a club, but
When you're
when
there,
I go,
it's like,
I'm like,
Yeah. Why'd I come out, bro?
yeah, I'm like, get me out of here. Because in my head, the club is like everybody's dancing and everybody's like,
Yeah.
you know, just having a good time. And so what I would say that is probably on the better end is like later.
Yeah.
I like later. I like
Later's
hush
cool.
hush too because they're
Yeah.
right next to each other. They're different vibes but still fun. I like Malolam. I went recently for my
Yeah.
birthday.
You're hitting all of them.
Oh, yeah, those are the spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like International?
I've actually never been.
No, that's a chill spot.
Yeah.
It's like a nice little like
Yeah.
little cool spot.
I like
heard.
the Reagan is
Berkeley,
fire.
The Reagan.
The Reagan is nice. Back when so the Davenport is nice too, but back when it was Berkeley, when the owner had Berkeley, I like that downtown.
Yeah.
I also like the gay bars a lot. I think they're
Yeah, me too.
I've never been.
Yeah.
That I've
I don't
actually,
know if it's-
Dude,
I've
is it weird for a straight man to go to a gay bar?
I don't think so.
Cra-
Some
it's
people might
crazy,
tell
yeah.
you otherwise.
I went there with a girl, so
Yeah.
that like kind of like X's it out. But bro, I mean, some people be playing that. Am I too loud?
A little bit.
Sorry. Some people be playing that car, bro, where like the straight dudes they'll go they'll go and
Act gay.
not act gay, but gay
They'll
guys
talk
will
to the
buy
gay
them
guys,
drinks,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They'll like entertain them.
entertain them.
And I've heard that from the side of having gay friends, and they're like, "That is so annoying. Like
Yeah.
this spot is not your spot. Go to the straight bar." So I don't know.
Oh,
but
do
for
they
me,
really?
as a,
So they don't want no straight people in there? Like essentially,
well, because essentially you're not.
you're there to find a gay guy,
Yeah.
or
But
or
also,
party with
or gay
people who
man,
are
or gay
like-minded,
lady.
and it's also a safer space because unfortunately,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah. But also, I heard a lot of gay dudes like. Sorry, it's just a funny topic. I don't even know if I'll put this in, but they just they get a chase. They like the rush of like turning a straight man.
Yeah. I won't say anything, but yeah.
No. Actually, I do have one question though. Is where do you think like your independence comes from? Like just wanting to be such a like go getter and like be like a boss lady. You know what I mean?
From my upbringing, honestly, like watching people being taken advantage of and also being in a position where I had no power over my living situation, like everything you have no
Yeah.
power over. how your life goes, it inspired me, honestly, to get my stuff together. Also, though, I will give credit to like my grandma, who is an immigrant from Mexico, and she bought her own house, by herself. And then my mom, when her and my dad split up and she was single, she was taking care of us for the most part by herself for a long time. Right. So it's like I have these inspiring women in my life that I am directly influenced by, who did it by themselves. And I see both ends of the coin, like both sides of the coin. Like, you can do it by yourself, but you can also be taken advantage of and be in these situations. So you need to take care of you.
That's amazing. And there's beauty in that, but at the same time, it like puts a lot of pressure on us, because like I could relate to the fact that like my mom was also an immigrant and she came over, and my dad, he's from Mississippi, like from the hood, the country, living like down bad, like seeing both of my parents and seeing where we are today, like the house we live in, the things they've been able to afford, and just the way they live. It's like, I have to be successful. Like, how if they made something happen from where they're coming from, and this is where I'm at, like, there's just no way I can't make something crazy happen.
Exactly. It's very inspirational stuff to see people go through their trials and tribulations and still come out the other end good, successful.
We ask this question to everybody, usually to end it. If there's someone going through just a tough time mentally, maybe something similar to you, where you kind of struggle, because I struggle with that same thing, where it's really like, sometimes it just feels like no matter what you do, like you're just not, like, you're not satisfied. And that can be just like a roller coaster, or just like it feels like you're just running in place sometimes, especially when it comes to mental health. So if someone who's going through that, like, what's something that you would say to them?
I think that if someone is going through that, they probably don't recognize it until they're at their breaking point. And so right now, you being at your breaking point, just know that you have to relax, and you have to take from this and try to create a balance in your life. You cannot be, a hamster in a wheel 24/7. You do have to pause and appreciate the beauty in life, because we're going to get to the end of it at some point, and you don't want to look back and have regrets and no moments where you can recollect feelings of happiness and peace. And also, you have to understand what peace can bring you. You can be making all the money in the world, or have all the success, all the accolades, and still not be happy. Happiness is the most important thing. So I would say, just allow yourself to feel those feelings. It's okay to not go. It's okay to allow yourself to relax, because it's better for you in the long run.
Preach.
There you go.
Mic drop.
There you have it.
Yep.
Well,
take us home, Curry.
Thank you very much, Audrey, for being with us today. We appreciate you being here. Episode 34 on the MVP. My boy Diego behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? We had a great time, great conversation. Loved having you, Audrey. It was a dope thing.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
How do people reach you?
Okay, so you can, again, my Instagram is Audrey Taylor, AUDREEY, and then Taylor. Or you can text me. I usually answer my phone better. 915-315-0202.
Yeah, so text that number. That was like the Soulja Boy plug in. Kiss me through the phone.
Yeah, that's bold. Never had anyone give out the number, but it's
that's different.
Yo, call me.
Call me.
For real.
Let's make your dreams come true.
Just for business, bro.
No, literally.
Don't get it misconstrued. She has a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
But until next time, guys.
Okay.